Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, students, parents, friends, relatives, teachers, and especially honored guests. My name is Solange DeSantis. I'm the chair of the Village of Mamaroneck Arts Council, one of the co-organizers of Poetry Live, Jane Dorian, a member of the Arts Council. We are so glad to see you all here this afternoon. We're celebrating National Poetry Month, which is April. We're celebrating the United States Poets Laureate, and we are celebrating a very special anniversary. This is the 15th year of Poetry Live. Yay! We have a very special program today, and we have a surprise at the end. Poetry Live was founded by a person who is an absolute creative jewel in our community. She was just reconfirmed as the Poet Laureate of the town and village of Mamaroneck, and she is here today, and her name is Mary Louise Cox. Please give her applause. How many towns in Westchester, how many towns in our country can say that they have a Poet Laureate, a person whose vision, whose job it is to support the art of poetry in our community? Her idea for Poetry Live was to give teachers the tools they need to encourage their students to create their own artistic visions, which is what we are going to hear today. The other thing that Mary Louise has done that we must mention today is she founded the Westchester Poetry Fund in 2000. It is part of the Westchester Community Foundation. There's information about it outside in the lobby, and it accepts donations. It is a supporter of this event today. And we thank you, Mary Louise, for that too. Yay. Thank you. Mary Louise has worked in schools, mentored young poets, as she does to this day, produces TV programs, and advocates for the availability of art in prisons. She herself has not ceased to create. She is of a truly fine age, Mary Louise. I hope you don't mind my saying that. And her latest book came out just last year, Framed References, Stories from My Life. Now, we also have to acknowledge the various entities that made today possible. First of all, the Village of Mamaroneck, that funds the Village of Mamaroneck Arts Council's events, including Mayor Norm Rosenblum, a big supporter of the Arts Council, our Board of Trustees liaison, Dave Finch, our co-organizers, in addition to Jane, Emily Marshall, the other members of the Arts Council here today, Robin Campbell, Joyce Marie Washburn, Sherry Topol Allison, thank you very much. These beautiful flowers were donated by Arcadia Floral. Please patronize our sponsors. Thank you also to the Emelin Theater and LMC TV, which is filming today's presentation. It will be seen on Cablevision 76 and Verizon 35. And to celebrate this 15th anniversary, we decided to create Poetry Weekend. So tomorrow, there will be a poetry reading and music evening at Cafe Mozart. And thank you to Cafe Mozart. And that's open to everyone. Come on out to Cafe Mozart and enjoy music and poetry. Now, to kick off our program today, we have a very special guest. He is a published poet and teacher, and he will open and close our program. Born in South India, Ralph Nazareth came to the United States in the turbulent 1960s. He has taught literature for 30 years at SUNY in Stony Brook and Purchase, the University of Texas at Austin, and Nassau Community College. His latest book is Ferrying Secrets. His writing has appeared in magazines and journals here and abroad. We have met with Ralph before this program, and we love him. He is passionate about bringing poetry into places that you might not expect. And I will let him tell you about that, Ralph Nazareth.
I know you're out there somewhere in the dark. It's customary, it's usual to be a little nervous on occasions like this, but I don't feel a bit nervous this afternoon, because I know the afternoon is all about you. So we're all looking forward to your work. Your parents are with you, your friends are with you, and you're going to bring light to the shadows and the darkness that often seems to surround us. But before I get into all of this, and try to be brief because the program is mostly your poetry today, I want to thank, first of all, Diane Sana. We go back a ways, and she and I have worked together. She was the one who connected me to this event, Diane, and then I met with Solange DeSantis and Jane. And I also want to say a big bow to Mary Louise Cox and to all of you, because this is what we do in India. We bow to the best that is in you. So I'm thrilled to be here. It's an honor. And Mary Louise Cox is the Poet Laureate of Mamaroneck, right? I am the aspiring Poet Laureate of Curly's Diner in Stamford. I'm lobbying for it. It's a wonderful place, and I'm authorized to invite all of you to come on Tuesday evenings when we have our meetings there. One of you out there, James, from Fox Lane, one of Diane's students, has been there. Isn't it a wonderful place, James? That's right. So, but make sure that I'm there at Curly's to greet you. Yesterday was what? Do you know what? It was a special day yesterday. It was the 400th anniversary of the death of Shakespeare. And we can't have a poetry afternoon without acknowledging the great bard. And 400 years later, his words and his insights and his vision are still leading the way for us. Forever, if not necessarily always into light, but through reality, all that is dark and light, good and bad, joyful and sorrowful, but real. That is what Shakespeare is. Do you remember, this is not a test, but if you know, how does his most popular play start, Hamlet? Anyone? Who's there? Who's there? That is by far the most popular play by Shakespeare, and it starts out with who's there? And for us, the question is, it's not just the battlements, and the life and the world is a battlement, a besieged place, like Elsinore in Denmark, but who's there it's not just the beginning of a knock-knock joke, right? But who's here? Who's there? Where is that there? It's in here. It's all about identity. Who's there? Who are you? Who am I? And that's what you're going to say today. At the end of the play of Hamlet, Hamlet is about to die, and he asks his best friend, Horatio, he pleads with him, go and tell the world my story. So I would say that that's the theme for this evening, this afternoon, that you're going to tell your story. And your story is nothing if it's not connected to all the other stories. So that is what I'd like to sort of say, that my own connection, if it is to this afternoon, is the word connection itself. To be connected, to be bridged, to be held together in bonds, in union. Amid all the forces of separation, of otherness, estrangement, of exile. Right now, even as we speak, even as we gather, the world is full of that. Children being wrenched away from their parents and from their local habitations and rendered exile. And we are in the midst of that. And here we are to celebrate togetherness and connectedness. And I would have to say Curly's, one of those strange places, an unusual place, is where I have spent the last 15 years sort of celebrating togetherness and community. The poem that I want to read, in fact, I want to read one short poem before I read the poem that Solange and the others requested that I read today. And this poem is by a famous Salvadoran poet. It's short. Like you, I love life, the sweet smell of things, the sky blue of landscape of January days. And my blood boils up, and I laugh through eyes that have known the buds of tears. I believe the world is beautiful, and that poetry, like bread, is for everyone. And that my veins don't end in me and in the unanimous blood of those who struggle for life. Love, little things, landscape, and bread, the poetry of everyone. Poetry of everyone, bread. At Curly's, we break bread, and I hope at home we sit together and break bread. And poetry, ultimately, is that bread we break, that is the sharing of our lives with each other, our connectedness. We're all in this together. So let me just read this one poem, and then we will unleash the young poets. This poem called How Come the Earth Spins has a little story to it. I was busy being a very famous writer when my 4-year-old daughter was on the front steps quarreling with her 4-year-old friend named Karen. And my daughter, Annika, was in love with a little boy, also 4 years old, named Joey. He lived down the block. And they had a little quarrel going. And I was irritated because I was trying to write in my attic. They were distracting me. But then when I sort of accidentally heard some of the things my daughter was saying to Karen, fighting her off over Joey, I realized how important what she was saying was. And so this poem is a gift from her to me, and I hope it's a gift from her and me to all of you, and hope it goes on and on in what it has to say. It ends with a sort of a puzzle, and if you don't know exactly what it means, please meet me after the event and I'll tell you. How come the earth spins? My daughter says the whole world's attached. The steps she's sitting on to the sidewalk to the street to Joey's block, and Joey's block to the railroad track, which goes on forever, attaching everything every which way. Round and round the world it goes, wrapping its silver ribbons. That's how come the earth spins, attaching sea to land and land to sky. The sun, she knows, is attached to the earth. The stars too, which are also attached to heaven, where God lives, attached to his bolts of lightning, which she hates, and his rainbow lollipops, which she loves. My daughter's America is attached to my India by an invisible thread, she thinks, and India to the elephants and tigers, and also to its poor people. And beyond that, she does not know, except the whole world's for sure attached. She's been told she was once attached to her mother. She'd like to know why she wasn't attached to me. I say I had to let go. Are you attached to anything? She asks. How about to my seat? I answer. Pa, she scolds me, not like that. But you know, like when you sleep so close to Ma at night, or to me when I have horrible dreams. The whole world's attached. Because if it wasn't, it would come apart and go to pieces. How does she know? But she does. Though she doesn't yet know about life with a capital L, she knows that attached has something to do with a gift. Karen's mom told her, but for the life of her, she cannot remember its name. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ralph, and we will be hearing from Ralph at the close of the program. And now on to the main part of the presentation. Diane Sarna has been involved with Poetry Live since its beginnings with her students at Fox Lane High School, and I'd like to welcome her to the stage to introduce the teachers and students.
The music is the best part. So welcome, everybody. I have such a crush on Ralph Nazareth. And I have a big shrine to William Shakespeare. So there will be cake at Fox Lane High School in room 301 if you come by tomorrow. So we will be celebrating not his death, but it's also his birthday. So we will be celebrating. But today we're here to celebrate all of the students who are here today. It takes a lot of courage to share your poetry or any kind of writing with an audience that's greater than yourself. Sometimes your teacher, because you have to. But to volunteer to be here is something to celebrate. And so we're going to call up one school at a time, and you can line up with your teacher up here, and you'll be called up to the microphone one at a time. And then when the whole school is done, you'll head back to your seats. Okay? So we're going to start, I guess because I'm up here already, we're going to start with Fox Lane. So if you would all come up the side stairs right up here. See, you get the music. Just line up right here for a sec. Thank you. Wonderful. They dressed up. I'm so impressed. So I'm going to call up just from my list here. Now, for those of you who are anxious, there is a copy of all the poems up here. So if you don't have yours, we took care of you. Okay, so I'm going to call up Haley Cowell.
Hello. My poem's called A Cheeky Smile. My mother and I were always going. It's as if we were always on the run, but I was never sure about who or what we seemed to be running from. The back seat of our car felt more like home than any house I'd ever lived in. I can recall regularly asking, "Mommy, why are you smiling?" And she would always reply with the same tired-sounding, "I'm not." I stopped asking one day, assuming that she didn't want to share her excitement pertaining to our next adventure. The more I grew, the more we moved, with me still sitting, comfortably but ignorantly, in the back seat, wondering why my mother smiled. Until the day came that I was a know-it-all 10-year-old who had finally been given permission to sit in the front passenger seat. I felt so grown up, as if I would gain some wisdom from my promotion to front seat rider, and once again, I was excited for another plunge into uncertainty. We emerged onto the highway and embarked on another one of our infamous escapades. I grinned and turned to look at my mother, expecting to see one of the cheeky smiles that I was so used to seeing from the back seat. However, instead of a smile, I witnessed my mother anxiously chewing her cheeks. I could instantly see the questions racing through her mind. Where are we going? How quickly can I find a new job? What are we going to do? How will Haley adjust to another new school? Both fear and stress were written across her beautiful, sleep-deprived face. It was the first time I had ever seen her face while she was driving. My mouth began to form the question, "Mommy, why aren't you smiling?" And I realized a discomforting truth that thwarted the question from exiting my quivering lips. She wasn't smiling today because she had never been smiling. All of this time, I thought that this was a life that we were living simply because my mother, Mommy, was a spontaneous, free-spirited woman who just wanted to travel down any dirt road that offered the possibility of a new beginning. The beautiful fantasies that we were these joyous nomads surrounded by bored, stable people began to fade away. We were no longer gypsies wandering the land, searching for something to satisfy our insatiable appetite for change, only settling for a moment when something somewhere piqued our interest. We weren't criminals on the FBI's most wanted list. that were running to evade a lifelong prison sentence. However, there's a strong chance that we were running from the flashbacks of ineffable accounts of abuse that we had somehow managed to survive that induce the post-traumatic stress that keeps us up each night. From the fathers and the husbands that are unworthy of their titles, who had promised to love and protect us, but instead invoked more agony and shortly after left our side. And from the ensuing egregious pain, a pain that my mother once taught me is impossible to escape because it is within us. My imaginary world disintegrated before me, leaving nothing behind but the bitter awareness of the puerile delusions and fairy tales that I had so gullibly believed once upon a time. I had been blind to worry, to sadness, to our struggle, and to the fear of the unknown. Both the back seat and my mother's hidden expression sheltered me, keeping me happy and in the dark. But the front passenger seat endowed me with the gift of sight, unveiling the truth, exposing me to enlightenment and to the clandestine candor that is not only concealed, but is also revealed in the painfully bright light.
And next you're going to hear from Devin Davis Lorton.
This is a poem I wrote for my 17th birthday called 17 Things I Wish I Knew a Year Ago. 1. You really need to remember to feed the cat. Seriously, if you don't, he will crawl into bed with you, meow in your face, and bite your nose until you finally get up at 1 a.m. to feed him. Then he'll come back the next night, wake you up, even if you did feed him, because that's how you taught him to get food. 2. People change, and you will too, but it's not always a good thing. Pay attention. 3. Remember how much it hurts when people talk about you the next time clever insults threaten to dance off your tongue. 4. I have no idea how you didn't know this before, but way more bad movies exist than you thought remotely possible, and Netflix isn't challenging you when it gives you a list of new and unwatched movies on the homepage. 5. When you make someone your world and they leave, you'll feel like Chicken Little. Just remember, when you're picking up the pieces of your sky, it wasn't your fault. 6. If you decide to drop your therapist for a voice teacher, make sure that's a good idea. If you immediately go back to shoving your fingers down your throat, then maybe it wasn't the best choice. 7. Put sunscreen on when your mom tells you to. Unless you want to roll around in bed for 5 hours in agony before a restless sleep. Protect your skin. 8. Lying to yourself gets you nowhere, but it makes you feel better. Pick the lesser of the evils. 9. When people leave, you'll miss them. You'll miss them a lot. It'll feel like your world is caving in, and you just want to stop crying, and you can't stop caring, and you can't fix it. You'll get choked up whenever they're nearby, but they won't notice. Don't forget that feeling. Never forget how it feels to be forgotten, because that's exactly what they felt when you let them slip through your fingers. 10. Laugh at things you think are funny, especially when your teachers make bad jokes. They really appreciate it. 11. If you broke up and felt nothing, then you really shouldn't have been together in the first place. 12. Adults are just kids in bigger bodies. They have no idea what they're doing either. Cut them some slack. 13. Not everyone wants to hear 30 million facts about Alexander Hamilton, so maybe wait until the time is right to share them. 14. An offhanded comment from any guy you care about might stop you from eating for a few days. Don't listen. Don't take it to heart. They don't know the impact of it. Just take a deep breath. 15. Tell your friends when it's your birthday. Don't just expect them to remember it. They have a lot of stuff going on, and it's a lot more fun to enjoy your birthday with friends than it is to cry about the fact that no one remembered. 16. The more you draw, the better you'll get, but life isn't all doodles. Practice piano and guitar once in a while. 17. Make mistakes, but don't repeat them.
I just learned a lot. Okay. And next we have Enoch Ramirez.
Hello? There it is. So, this is called afternoon/evening, a conversation with Jessica. If you ever had a conversation with someone in a dream, or some kind of like weird limbo where you don't know that you're in reality, sometimes we call that a daydream. This is it, after John Sands. Me. Hey. Her. Hey yourself. Me. Are you referencing something? Her. Are you insane yet? Me. Am I still in the same place? Her. You never seem to move. Me. You never seem to stay. Her. That's irony for you. Me. What's that supposed to mean? Her. Does it have to mean anything? Me. It should have. Her. You mean we should have? Me. I don't recognize my hands anymore. Her. Is that a problem? Me. I thought I was. Her. Are you a problem? Me. The only reason I know they're my hands, her, is because they're attached to your arms. Me. Where are you? Her. Valhalla, or above you. Me. How are the trees where you are? Her. Tall, green, interesting. Me. Do they talk? Her. You're too busy to talk to me. Me. Are you too busy to talk to me? Her. I was. Me. Do you, her, what? Me. Do you miss me? Her. I don't know. Me. I need to know. Her. Are you dreaming? Me. I must be dreaming. Her. Are you or am I? Me. Are you leaving soon? Her. Listen to some music for me. Me. Remember to save a memory of me. Her. Is that goodbye? Me. Never been good at that. Her. Enjoy your evening. Me. Remember to save me. Thank you.
And next we have James Larkin.
Hello. Okay. So, this is a poem called Young Heart. I'm 6 abs away from a six-pack because I'm lazy. People say I'm too young for my height. I'm a 6.5-foot 6-year-old. People have told me I've got too many years of childhood still stuck in my head. Told me to grow up, drop kicking me into adulthood like it's something I want, but really, who wants to do a thing like grow up? All my friends be hollering at the newest hottie on the street while I'll be at the local comic book store before I can catch a glimpse of those hips or snag a kiss off of those lips. I'll be watching Looney Tunes before I can do a thing like feel a girl up. I'll be perfecting my pillow forts. I'll be the only one that goes in them because nobody I've known has ever wanted to date this toddler. Maybe it's because I don't deserve it, because I'm just so far away from a woman's perfect figure, could never bear to look them in the eye without getting a nervous stutter. My pen will be writing love notes to my puppy love crush instead of essays or papers, or before I speak any sentence to a girl. And it's all for nothing, because according to my ex-sweetheart, my body don't got enough bulk. I'm too soft. I don't know how to man up or get tough, and I get it all because it's true. She needs a man A man that can fight with their fists, the one that have more empty space than brain, but at the same time know how to flirt, hoot, heartbreak, and holler. She wants veins popping out of arms, not an extra serving, a sensitivity or another load of shyness. Those are the guys that categorizes her type, not me. I may not be in the sport she plays, but I wish the rules and regulations of this game called love never said I had to meet her standards, because I'm just a whole new flavor she don't want to taste. I can show her imagination before commitment, adventure before settling down. We can make shadow figures with our hands and a flashlight. I won't have to feel like I have to say I love you to prove it. I can build her a heart out of Legos, let her dream like she is 2 again, nickname my favorite Pokemon after her. I really can't dance well. I got no merengues or tangos in me, and the cuts I get will be from falling on concrete before I get into any fights. Let me construct you a fort out of pillows and blankets, and we can pretend like it's our first time, baby. I'm a 6.5-foot 6-year-old. My imagination still runs me. My dreams are still kindling. Where does it say that any of this can't happen?
I don't know, Ralph. I'm feeling a slam challenge going on here. Have you ever heard Ralph slam? That's something to hear. All right, next we have Josh Karras.
I'm Josh Karras, and this poem is Jazz in Life. Between the silence, anything goes. Between the silence, everything flows. Between the silence, nobody knows but you from where the music grows. The time's a mechanical tick, tick, tick. It never stops to let you finish your lick. Beaten to the ground with a wooden stick, the music lies on a foundation of brick. The tempo don't stop, so neither do you. You're bound to the beat, can't miss your cue. Listen to the drums, the horns, bass too, but first to the time, you gotta stay true. If you're to stumble or fumble at all, you can't just stop, you can't just fall. You gotta keep going, don't drop the ball, finish the song and stay standing tall. Make a mistake while trading fours, take your mistake, make it yours. Ride the mistake through new open doors, mistakes raise ceilings, mistakes drop floors. Keep in mind what shouldn't come first, when loud sounds better, all right or worse. Sing out the melody, passionate thirst, murmur the chords, harmonical bursts. Look down too much, the audience can tell, you can't just play, you listen as well. Breathe it all in, the sight, the smell. Exhale it out, the ideas will swell. Feed off of others, they got things to say. Grab a seat, have a chat, you don't have to stay. Or you can linger, make it a day. Smattering chatter shows you can play. Between the silence, anything goes. Between the silence, everything flows. Between the silence, everyone knows is where life's born and where life grows.
And now we have Jean Cambereri.
Hi, this is Maple Avenue. In my dream, I walk briskly down Maple Avenue, compelled not to make eye contact with anyone. Afraid of what I heard, so I run. The houses are beaten down and empty. Beautiful black faces peer through windows, but I don't look at them. I don't know what it's like to be in their shoes. I've never had someone frighten me because of the color of my skin, or the house that I live in, or the clothes that I wear. And in my mind, I scream Black Lives Matter, but I'm afraid to shout in the daylight. I don't deserve to be called an activist just because I believe in equality. I would deserve to be called an activist if I were brave enough to act, but I don't. I am an accidental racist, masked by words telling my white friends about justice, and they applaud me, but I don't want any praise. I see black and white, but I should be advocating for gray. I don't deserve any praise, because even if I actually did something, I'd just be doing the right thing. But now that a white person is speaking up, it's okay. Forever enslaved by the shackles on their hearts, a gun still held to their head, making them believe the color of their skin isn't good enough, isn't white enough. How did we get into this mess? They were only asking not to be labeled solely by the color of their skin, as if their only identity is the body that they exist in. As I lay in my white bed, crisp, clean sheets of privilege under me. I too have a dream, just like many others did before me. I am standing in a community of hope, a sea of different colored people, where the trigger isn't pulled by a cop I thought was supposed to protect us. Aren't we all equal under the law? But then I awake and walk briskly from the reality of Maple Avenue. Thank you.
Thank you, Fox Lane. Give him another hand. You can go have a seat. I have the best job in the world. I love these guys. All right, and next we call up Mamaroneck Middle School.
This year, my students made my job extremely easy. For some reason, poems were coming to me and I saw pairings. So maybe two would be about the nighttime, or two would have a very similar setting, or two would be a little bit about war, that type of thing. My first student, Maxwell Gorin, is not here. His poem is in the pamphlet that you've been given, or actually in the anthology. Do they have the anthology?
Not yet.
Not yet. You shall. But it's about a great white shark's hunger, and it speaks to the cycle of life. We're going to be skipping over that one. Unfortunately, he's not here today. However, Tim Wang is. Tim?
Okay, mine is called The Silence. A bright-eyed child, a sad woman, a wrinkly man, a hairy man with a skinny dog, a burly captain, people speaking so fast like a hummingbird's wing, all on a wonderful cruise ship. But it halted so fast, then a light goes out, a bloody axe, a rotting dog, spilling out an unnatural pile of organs, a rusty scythe on the ground, a corpse covered with flies, a wet half-bitten hat, an overwhelming silence, all on a radioactive cruise ship. Done.
Good job. Good job. I love that surprise ending. Absolutely love it. Okay, next up, Daniela Schneider. She's going to be reading Lost in Thought.
Thinking is searching for a hidden clue. The correct
I'm going to
answer.
have you start one more time. There you go, gorgeous.
Thinking is searching for a hidden clue. The correct answer buried deep beneath the ocean blue. Walking down the aisles in your brain, file after file of memories. The mind is a parking lot. Too many thoughts looking for the best spot. Lots of loud honking, distracting the train of thought as it rumbles past. A mind is like a city, each part has its place. It all fixed together like a set of puzzle pieces. Plenty of stores sell memories from different emotions. As you walk by, you notice, energetic and frightened are on sale. So many different things to think, some memories to recall, but right now what I'm searching for is the answer to math problem number 24.
And now we have Angela Dorinda, The Test.
My stomach is in knots, like piranhas chomping on my body. I rub my neck until it's red. When I get my paper, I am as shocked as I've witnessed roadkill. Paper as thick as a dictionary. Questions trickier than solving a Rubik's Cube. As I write, my hands cramp and I start to bite my nails. My test is done and I feel like I've won a fight. I hand it in like the test is gold.
Jessica Park will read Winter Night Light.
Hi, everybody.
Got it.
Wings of wispy clouds release a magical burden. Coyotes howl and yelp at a brilliant sight. Chilling zephyrs spin sparkles that make the world white. The forest so silent and serene, you could hear winter's child making her beautiful scene. But the magic moments will soon end. No tiny stars the sky will send, and the crisp air will be still. The product of winter's mark will remain. The night world will be suddenly bright, with the earth reflecting the heavens with light. That beautiful valley will quietly lie, right beneath a star-speckled sky. A gleaming snow-laden valley will sparkle and shine. A winter nightlight, now that's divine.
Okay. Next, we're going to have Persephone Barnes. She's going to read a poem of starlight.
A rich mahogany archway turned a dark silver by the moonlight, intertwined with swirling carvings, etchings of the past. A memory is remembered, like the light of a flame in the dark. Through the archway, a roundabout fountain, spurting water, then silence. Now a starlit pond, shimmering still.
Next, Sophia Janusa is going to read A Shimmer in the Shadows.
In the darkest of the night shines a light so bright that takes many by surprise even before they rise, and many will swoon under the moon as time shall pass, measured by an hourglass. But I ask of only one, that very special person, to come see when it is full, for the days are only two, before I find another soul and it fades like morning dew.
Okay. The next poem is by Natalie Goldberg, entitled Bugs.
Walking down the stairs or running all about, sitting in a chair or sleeping in your house. Something caught your eye, smaller than a nail. Maybe scared and shy, or maybe weak and frail. Without a second thought, you smash it on the wall. All the life is gone, no one cares or is distraught. Little did you know that bug was something more. Mother, father, sister, brother, all their hearts are sore. This bug is not just that, it represents a scene. Lives are taken every day, it's heartless, cold, and mean.
And next, Angel Tapia will read War.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Angel Tapia. This is my poem, War. The eyes of men running, falling, screaming are the ones who feel they are dying. With those who are shouting, sweating, bleeding, those who still feel something have the eyes of love. Most of the men's families are thinking, hoping, and waiting. Angry men cursing and hating. Feel nothing for the wounded, sodden and red. All of the men have the eyes of the dying and those of the dead.
Unfortunately, Dylan Spencer's not here today. We are going to skip over his poem, but last but not least, Matt Garcia is going to be reading Winter. Come on up. It's right there.
Solstice, the tilt of the earth's axis. She feels it coming on. She hears snapping tree branches. Wait, it's quiet and cold now. Where have the hours gone? Tomorrow they will migrate. She misses them. She is lonely. Oh, how she hates him.
How many parents could do what those middle schoolers just did? Pretty amazing. Thank you, Laureate Middle School. And Jenny Theo, like myself, has been coming here for many years. Thank you, Jenny, for celebrating poetry with us. All right, next we have Mamaroneck High School, the hometown school. Come on up, folks. I think they may have a few teachers. Let's see who comes up here.
I'm Aaron Chansky,
I'm Maria Fairbairn.
and we're here to introduce some of our students. First, Darren Bosch, a student. He couldn't be here, but he's very excited for her to share her poem. This is Emily Hurley.
Hi, this is called Botanical Anaphylaxis. We were at the gardens the day after New Year's, watching the toy trains roll by, going nowhere, like me. She tells Mom her throat itches, and Mom looks at Dad. He shrugs and gives her some water. Another train rolls through a nothing neighborhood, and she turns around and says her lips feel funny, with her hand up to her mouth. Mom pulls her hand away, and her lips are swollen. Dad picks her up and starts to push through people. You grab my hand and pull me along behind Mom. When we get to the desk, there are red specks crawling up her neck. Everyone starts to yell. The 5 of us get into a strange car that does not belong to us. I know because this car can go through red lights. Mom grabs her and runs through clean doors. People that look like her are sitting in chairs in a blue room that smells like bleach. The lady hands Dad some papers. Dad yells at her, but she does not yell back. Mom pushes through the doors, and Dad follows, dragging us behind him. I'm still holding your hand. Dad yells at you now, saying to get me away. People dressed in the same color take her and attach her to cold machines. We walk down the linoleum hall until we get to a hallway with a rug, and pictures on the wall are of people I don't know. I start to cry, and you yell at me, but hold my hand anyway. All you wanted to do was see the trains.
Next, also Darren Bosch's student, Stephen Rome, who's been a past participant, who's a senior, and we'll miss having him.
Coffee at midnight. The night carries with it a stillness that slows my limbs, enclosing them with a blanket that softens the edges of my vision. Delicate wisps tangle and float toward my eyes, dispersing into the dimness, absorbed by the enormity of night. The world is sleeping. The 2 of us have survived. It steams simplicity, plain white porcelain commanding respect on the cleared-off mahogany table, pacifying its wordless, screaming contents. A clock beats behind me, but its rhythmic whispers fall softly, silently, into the folds of the fabric of this moment. It, too, is sleeping. I listen as stories emanate from its soul, infinitesimal particles of warm bitterness spreading slowly into the room, tickling my face and slyly weaving into my nostrils. It breathes, and I breathe, and I wonder about its stories, where else its particles have burrowed, what crevices of flesh it has explored. And the faint bitterness tells me of hands. Hands etched with cracked contours, caked with grime and sweat. Hands hidden in the vastness of unvarying green fields, forgotten, never known. Hands I will not touch. Hands which now touch me, their fingers extended as they spiral and uncork just at the margin of perceptibility. Hands that evaporate in unnatural incandescence and cacophonous noise, hands never discovered when the world is awake. So as the rhythmic clock sleeps, I draw a long breath, making room for its atoms, and my hands raise the simple mug to my lips, my eyes unconsciously closing to greet the flood of warmth filling my body.
Next, we have Elena Almosnino student Sophia Harbour.
Hi, this is a poem called My Hope. Hope is a parachute that hovers you inches above the earth, almost taking you airborne, but not quite. The simple matter is you are hovering there, in space, while time ticks on by the clock of the earth, always humming. You can leap, soar high, with your parachute to guide you, but you will need a running start. You must get blisters on your not yet broken in shoes, digging into your skin, whispering in your ear to stop, to breathe, just breathe. You must get the wind sucked out of your lungs before you can breathe. You must fight. You mustn't lean on your parachute to support you. It will rip, and you will fall. deep into the earth. The moss will soothe your blisters, but not your potential. You will levitate, skimming your toes on the rim of the earth forever, unless you take your parachute as your soldier and fight.
And finally, Anna Kiernan, who I've had for 3 years. She's now a junior.
Hi. So I wrote this a few weeks after the Paris attacks, so just keep that in mind. It's called Life as We Know It. The lightning strikes and 26 are taken. 3 years later, and we are still not awakened. We protect ourselves with the powder of death. How come no one remembers that powder took away 26 breaths? After the storm, the seas settle, and our souls feel belittled. Still, nothing. We want humanity to return, so we yearn for some kind of protection, an insurrection. But 3 years passed, and the stands we take do not last. 3 weeks ago, from across the sea, we heard their muted plea. Souls disintegrated to ashes, the thunder still booms and crashes. We cover our ears. The storm is still here, and it rages on. 128 gone.
Thank you. Now we're going to, first of all, thank you. That was beautiful, that last poem. As a resident of Newtown, Connecticut, I very much appreciate that last poem. In case you haven't noticed, each poem very much celebrates the individual. And so now we have a big group coming up from Westlake High School, led by their teacher, Janet Matthews, who's been here many times as well. Come on up.
Thank you, Diane. First up, we're all impatient at times, living life at rapid speed, always waiting for what is next. Christina Mangione, in her poem Blink, contemplates this.
A pile of fire lay on the streets, chilling winds, trembling trees, and a fury of leaves flew by. The tranquil days were slowly ending, bringing jackets and darker nights. The endless brisk time was ahead. When will it be green again? Now December, the smoke of the leaves remain, replaced with rigid bark and shadowy branches. Feet of white piles sleep on the streets, and the coolness is deathly overbearing. But when will it be warm again? The white mass melts into pools of water, and tips of green grass now peek through. The once bare trees now speckled with buds. The peaceful blooming time filled with bursts of pink azaleas and lilacs. But when will it be summer? Now the time when warm winds fly by, blue skies are painted with airy white clouds. The whistling winds from the foaming waves were peacefully sounding, and the warm sand tickled our feet. But all I have to ask is, when will it be cool again? We always want and never enjoy the day. We read a poem in the blink of an eye, and then a year goes by.
Thank you, Christina. The next young lady, Daniela Marek, wanted to be here very, very badly, but she is in a Croatian dance competition outside of the States, so I promised I would read her poem for her. It's entitled Lock and Key. There it lies, reposing in its rightful place, a glimmering bronzed key. The security to all locks in our lives. In some way, we are that key. We are the security to all of our secrets, the hidden fears that become a hellish nightmare, the loneliness that becomes a prison for our soul, the rejection that becomes our failed acceptance. Holding those moments scare us, embarrass us, control us. We become a sealed door. Nothing can ever open us. Until we meet that one person, if we are lucky, they will open up the universe. At first, those moments that scared us, embarrassed us, controlled us, are slowly revealed. Then we become part of their lock, and they become part of our key, until we are the lock and key. The circle of life is marked by seasons, traditions, and rituals, and these celebrations are always a point of reflection, as Julia Ramo will tell you in her poem, New Year's Eve. Julia.
What a magical evening, a time to spend with your loved ones, to rejoice and reflect on the wonderful and miserable times. New babies, graduation, grandma breaking her hip, Spike, our beloved dog, put to sleep. You look around and see the people who spent the everlasting year with you, the people who never left your side, the people who saw you in your best and worst times. They are all dancing merrily about. Sequence all around. The ball begins to drop, and you all begin to count. 5, until time seems to move slower. 4, passing out the beaded necklaces. 3, getting our noisemakers ready. 2, and feels as if it stops. And when it changes to midnight, and you all yell 1, time is no longer in slow motion. You step back and realize that it was all over too quickly. Looking over the point of your plastic flute, adjusting your black and gold paper crown, blowing into your noisemaker, seeing the confetti slowly flutter down, with a carefree smile, you realize it is time to begin again.
Thank you, Julia. Most of us have had pets, maybe several. Some roam free, some are fenced, and some are caged. In this symbolic flashback, Brian Bennett captures a moment of glory in his poem, Crucify the Crayfish. Brian?
After the discovery that there was another, a prophet before him, he could not allow himself to be trapped within the plastic walls. He needed freedom from this tiny world of his. He could not be forsaken to the black abyss, as had his predecessor. He needed to ascend where the former could not. And so he fasted for 40 days until the answer he sought came to him in this delirious state, where a voice boomed his destiny. The crustacean attempted 3 times, and only on the 3rd, under the cover of darkness, did he succeed. As he drifted over aquatic pebbles to the rock he had called home for years. Thus he climbed upwards, claw after claw, hitched into the plastic molding, until at last he gazed over the clear basin, onto the barren hardwood landscape, covered with papers. As he dropped down from his plastic perch, the crayfish saw a light in the distance. It beckoned to him, and so he rose.
Thank you, Brian. I'm here to confirm that poetry can happen anywhere. In fact, the following poem that you're going to hear, The Circle of Light by Alison Brunetto, was composed on a very boring car ride to Buffalo. and she was in the back seat of the car with her notepad and pencil scribbling away.
Each one of us is a candle. At birth, each baby shakes their rattle, squeals a gentle coo, and shows a toothless smile. Its candle is lively. It moves in playful motions as the wind blows left and right. The candle remains lit. It guides people in times of darkness, giving to the homeless, saying Hail Marys, and being a friend. This gives hope to the hopeless. And from this candle, other candles emerge, like firefly lights in the darkness. They spark like wildfire on the forest floor and break up the night. It cannot be denied that some candles are destructive. They use what they were given for evil: theft, lies, even murder. These candles set fire not only to the trees, but to life itself. And the evil take light from the bright. They engulf each flame like a shark who slowly eats away at the flesh of a helpless seal. Eventually, each wick withers and the flower petals drop to the ground. But the smoke lingers on. It remains in the hearts of the one who watched the flame grow. Once the smoke is gone, only the memories remain. The memories might warm the hearts of many and burn a couple too.
While most students think of contemporary poet laureates, Keira Donnelly was inspired by Sir Walter Raleigh, whose journey in the 15th century led him to try to find the city of gold. Now, this explorer was also a poet and was twice imprisoned in the Tower of London. And for sure, his life was not without challenge. But as Keira will tell you in her poem, Pause, it was also tempered by wisdom.
I craved collision, yet found separation. I saw what felt like home, yet I found myself veering from the path I longed to follow. I desired safety, yet I destroyed my protection, and I longed for peace, yet I was trapped in chaos. Turmoil presented itself as a perilous dip in the road, as an inconvenient crevice, as the erosion of the route I adored and desired. The emergence from shame is a difficult, chaotic undertaking, one of which can sting like an everlasting flame and can reveal qualities of arrogance, of greed, and of envy. The source of change is not action, is not impulsion. It is derived from the ability to reflect, to contemplate, to examine. The recognition of one's passion, the acknowledgement of one's character, and the feelings that burn down the insecurities that had once prevented the collapse of indignity. A pause is imperative, caution is necessary, for it is easy to forget oneself after being submerged in the hindrances of life.
Thank you, Keira. Birthdays are marked by festivities. We all want the balloons and the presents and the friends. But this celebration also marks time. And in the following lyrical poem, Ariana Rich brings our attention to this theme.
The day grows old. Songs are sung. Memories are made. No one grows young. Candle glimmers, fire flickers, leaving shadows on the walls. They brightly shine like stage lights on the eyes. Wax drips slowly, slowly, like hesitant tears, like rain from above. Blinded by the intensity of the flame, smoke fills the dwelling like a charcoal cloud. Before me, it awaits, thawing, melting like a snowman on summer days. This is my cake, filled with pure delight. No more candles to light the night. My birthday grows sweeter, the night grows old. More songs are sung. Today is my day. No one grows young.
Wonderful thoughts in that poem, Cake. The next poem, and our final reader, will give you a rapid snapshot of a frenetic city. You will see in this poem, Emily Rubino captures the rapid sounds of the hustle of life in her poem, The Restless City.
Visitors stroll into stained streets, filled with broken cups and layers of dirt, from half-lit cigarettes, with billboards plastered all around that quietly distract frantic drivers as the first horn blares in the early morning, while stiff businessmen in their striped suits and manicured women hurry in their clicking heels past shiny silver windows. The wind returns. Suddenly, two strangers start a fight down the First Avenue, songs of love and lost, lost in the sea of people, lost through the crevices of cracked roads, lost by noises of screeching brakes. Now the ground grows larger. The walls whisper with their cries and laughs of the past with ever more imagination, imprinted like bold graphics on the fleeting buses that travel to see each corner of that wide world. The place lit by the night is never dark, even though it is blurred by cloudy skies and rising smoke. The place is never silent of sounds, even after celebrations halt and abandoned stores lie lonely in wait, saved only by the comfort of whimpering dogs. The place dotted with stop signs and random stickers and gum-slick streets never seems messy. Even nostalgic walkers seep into young minds, covering their tracks like they are following footprints in the snow, their eyes widen to the neon flashes of restaurants and theaters and murmurs of pedestrians who slip through hotel doors, ignoring the doorman in dated attire, as they try to stop the biting cold and muffle the sounds of a man pleading for coins. After even when the sudden frosty day takes a pause, it never comes to a full stop, and that's okay.
Thank you, Westlake High School. Janet Matthews, I want her to introduce me every time I have to enter a room because she's so good at just capturing the essence of each individual. Thank you, Janet. Our last school today is Homix Middle School, and there's a long list of teachers. I can't wait to meet you all, so please come on up, Homix Middle School and teachers.
Good afternoon, everyone. Aren't they wonderful, these poems, these students? They're great. So I'm Sandra Llanos.
And I'm Lisa Mannheim.
Unfortunately, Laura, Emily, and Lorraine could not be here today, but their students are representing them. First up, we have Caitlin Carpenter with her poem, Drinking from My Owner's Water.
Before I start, I want to say I'm not against pets. I'm against people who treat other people like pets. Just in case you were wondering after that. Okay, so I stand at the corner of a room, looking out into the vastness of space that I am granted with. My tongue rolls out of my mouth in a spiral. Drool flicks off the tip. My behind is higher than my head. I pound upwards for the doorknob. I bark at it, scratch it, but it doesn't move an inch. Until it does. I tilt my head upward and my ears flop back. I stare at the being who twisted the doorknob, who opened the door, who did what I could not. They have a body that can reign over mine. They have intelligence that can prove mine wrong. They have the power to tell me what to do and what not to do. They have the freedom to open the door and run into the outside with their arms wide open, screaming, "Hallelujah!" They own all I own, if I were to own anything at all. They take my life away. What they give me in return?
Tummy rubs, brushes to groom my hair, and toys to occupy my tiny brain as they laugh to their heart's content. I am never taller than them, and I will never be taller than them, for they are my owners, the ones that keep me in a house, the ones that keep me away from my calling. What goes through their head? What horrible thing inspires them to do what they do to me? What has emptied their buckets so much that they would want to take others' water? Why do I ask questions when I know they won't help me? So I decide to trot down the stairs, into the kitchen, and drink from the tray of water that my owners own.
Next up, we have Nora O'Brien with her poem, Summer.
Dusty shirt, free arms, faded shorts, running legs, bare feet, black tar, hot pavement. Small feet, toes wriggling, scurrying across the grass, brown and shriveled from the heat. Rain comes, finally, dancing as the cool drops fall to her face. As dirt pours off of her, her feet going always, summer.
Great. Next up is Danica Glassberg with Say to Them.
Hi. Say to them, say to the circle fringers, the lost in the crowders, the looking inners, the try too harders. You aren't them, you're your own person. Don't listen to them, don't listen to the drama queens, the worker bees, 10 altogether. They're not so cool. They cover you. They tell it straight. They love to hate. They laugh too hard. They fall apart. They seem immune. They leave soon.
The next poem is The Average Summer Day by Josh Abraham.
The cold lake has attached to me. The rich fire, burning bright next to the birch tree, has warmed my soul. A change of pace, a new perspective, the average summer day.
The next poem is Clumsiness by Michelle Zinger.
Books, papers, notebooks fall into perilous piles of clutter as her hands try desperately to grasp the upheaving pile. She fails to do so, and as the halls become littered with sheets of paper, she stumbles on thin air as if someone was pushing her down. Suddenly, everything came rushing back to her. It was as if her past memories were flooding into her soul, one by one. She winced as a wave of pain indulged her. She lets go of everything that weighs her down, every battle that scars her. She looks up at the papers raining down on her and thinks of snow, of washing everything away in the white, innocent snow. She lies still for a second, the only sound being that of a mental clock telling her she must pick herself up and get back on her way. For the first time, she tells herself no. She won't do it anymore. She'll lie right here in the hallway, right up until the moment the pain stops. She won't move or speak or breathe. She's looking for peace in a war, empathy in a world of apathetic civilians. She was trying to do the impossible, change the stubborn boy whose mind narrow. She was pretending to hold on when all she wanted to do was let go.
And the next poem is called Different Thoughts by Parker Eberly.
I sing when it's warm, when the sky is bright and at night even brighter, when waves crash on beaches and children's play. But skies do darken and songs get sad and stuck, with no wind and too cold to be home. Where the waves used to crash and create a sweet song, now winter comes and makes me feel wrong. I no longer belong. Summer has left, winter has come and torn up my chest, captured my head and slowed my heart. I don't feel right. This is not for me. When summer comes back, I shall sing and feel free.
Next up, we have Sandy Kwok with Nothing.
These moles are nothing, these freckles are nothing, this stomach which sags with rolls of fat, these scars and dirty fingernails. My heart is as cold as a stone, they are all nothing. I'm always going to be the same girl. The years, months, and days change nothing. On a bright, hot, sunny day, I feel nothing. I'm always alone, far away in the darkness, and in winter nothing changes. Over the frozen bushes, they throw snow at me, they laugh at me, they keep me in the darkness. My longing for love is still uncontrollable. I am driven by my hopes for love. From last year to this year, nothing has changed. I won't give up. No matter how much snow they throw at me, I won't give up. Maybe one day I'll feel something.
Next up, we have Ella Chin with There It Was.
There it was, the fantastic work of one of the most glorious painters in the kingdom, that she had been searching for ever since that day, when she had seen a picture of it in a book. Never had she seen such finely etched eyes, its pitch-black pupils, staring into the depths of your soul. The lips, parted ever so slightly, and drawn to perfection, breathing in your secrets and desires. She hadn't seen him that day in the park. All she was looking at was a handsome and incredibly dashing prince. Her eyes combed at the painting, searching desperately for some hint of who the owner of this painting could be. The background scenery was composed of lush green orchards, rolling hills, and cascading waterfalls, exactly like the faux surroundings of the park. Every single detail was in place. The magnificent butterfly that had been hovering nearby, the rebellious children chasing after the prince, even the intricate splinters of the deep mahogany wooden bench she had been perched on. The shade provided by the tree behind her had been added on to her as well, the sunlight cutting through where the shade had not reached. The tree, rich in fruit and plump with green leaves, was painted so that it melted into the scenery. The fine china teacup she had been holding looked even more beautiful, every inch of it included, from the intricate flower designs along the brim to the ever so tiny chip on the bottom ridge. She felt as if she could reach out and take the teacup. Her eyes wandered to the distant glimmer that shimmered as it collided with the silver and gold that consisted of the castle's roof. The castle's windows even portrayed the fine glasswork that had held up through the years. She knew there was only one way to describe the painting. As her viewing time ran out, beautiful. It was her after all.
Okay, our next poem is Extraordinary by Sarah Waring.
We think that we are born ordinary, that in the end we are nothing, that the world will keep turning, which it will, and that the pain and the death and the injustice and fear will be there no matter what we do. We think that our voices are dull and hoarse, and who will listen? No one. We think that we will never amount to anything because we think we are ordinary. But the truth is, we are born extraordinary. We are born with fire in our eyes and galaxies in our hearts and a hive of possibilities buzzing under our skin. We are born to live and to love and to change the world. Our spirits flap their wings and let us know that we can do anything, build castles of wise words, wave the flags of peace, light the lantern of hope in our world's dark night. But we don't. We let the world keep turning. We let the lantern stay unlit. We let our wonder and our whimsy stay locked up. And we tell ourselves that really, there was nothing we could have done anyway. Who are we to think that we could matter? Who are we to believe that maybe we could make a change? Who are we to think that we could be the miracle the world needs? Because fighting the world's demons is a job for someone else, someone extraordinary. And of course, we must be simply ordinary.
The next poem is No One Else Knows the Bliss That It Brings Me by Maddie Tyler.
No one else knows the bliss that it brings me, leaping in the air and spinning on one foot. The whole world around me is silent, expressionless, watching closely, trying to understand. Rising up on my toes in the big, boxy satin shoes, little drums on my feet. switching my legs in a glorious tour-jeté. The whole world around me is as quiet as midnight in Mamaroneck. While I reach for the stars and leave the people far behind, they're still watching closely, trying to understand.
Our last poem is actually put to music, so give us a second to get ready for this.
And this song is called Never by Lilou Bouyer.
I've been running down the river with my heart. Oh, the times were so dark. I've been running down tonight. Oh, with my jolly heart. I've been falling, slipping every way. Oh, the times were so dark. I've been running down tonight. Oh, with my jolly heart. The darkness of the skies and by getting to by loneliness, hurting, losing, and keeping myself, hurting, losing, and keeping yourself. The sky's crumbling down to pieces of loneliness. Hurting, losing, and keeping myself, hurting, losing, and keeping yourself. The sky's crumbling down to pieces of loneliness. Oh, I've been running down the river with my heart. I've been running down the river with my heart.
That was everyone. Thank you again to Hammocks Middle School. Wow. You can head right down here. They didn't even need our music, did they? So as our last group is going to sit, I'm a mind reader and I have a feeling that there are some other special things to come. But I'd like all the poets to turn around in their seats because there's some very special people behind you. I don't know that you realize how many of them there are. So first of all, if you're a brother or a sister of one of the poets, could you please wave at them, let them know, remind them that you came here on a sunny Sunday? And then how about parents and grandparents? Please wave. And any other family members or friends? Look at how many people are here to celebrate. Now, they've sat on the sidelines for all of your games, but this might be the very first time that they've come to the Emelin Theater to celebrate your poetry. What a special day. So again, turn around and say thank you to them. And I'm going to hand it over to Solange and to Jane. I won't go far.
Don't go far, Diane. Well, poetry is in very good hands. What do you think, Mary Louise? Yes, excellent. Thank you so much. Fantastic. And keep rapping and rhyming and singing and just throwing those words out in the world. We now have gifts for the teachers who have worked so hard with the students. Should we call them up by school, Jane?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so
My lovely assistant, Jane.
yes, the first school we're going to call up is Mamaroneck Middle School. We're just going to call up our teacher, Jenny Thiel. So let's hear it for her. Yep, how she inspired.
I want to let you know that the gift we have for the teachers is a copy of Mary Louise Cox's latest book. Yes, yes.
Yes. So each of the teachers will be getting a beautiful book with photos and artwork and Mary Louise's poem. But it's all
wrapped. It's wrapped.
So, and then in here, each teacher has the anthologies for all of her students or his students. So students, before you leave, you should get your anthology so that you can take it home. And then there's an extra copy for your library.
Thank you.
Okay, so thank you so much.
Okay.
This is yours too. Okay. And then, okay, our next school up is Mamaroneck High School. We have two teachers here today, Aaron Shansky and Maria Fairbairn. Okay, so.
All right.
Thank you so much. So you're going to take these two and give it to the teachers. Yes, and thank you. Let's hear it from Mamaroneck.
Woo! Mamaroneck High School.
Next, we have Westlake and our teacher, Janet Matthews. Come on up. Okay, Janet, thank you so much for inspiring all those poets, and
thank you.
Yeah, thanks for being such a loyal supporter. Okay. And then we have Homix. I know we have two teachers here, Zandra, and I think we have Lisa. Is that correct? Yes. Come on up. Let's hear it for Homix. Okay, teachers, thank you so much.
All right.
Okay. Finally, we have, I'm going to get this one, right? Okay, you can go over there, Diane.
Okay,
whisper.
Okay, I'll be surprised.
We have our Mistress of Ceremonies, Diane Sarna. So this is for you.
Thank you.
So let's hear it for Fox Lane. And this is a little extra gift for our Mistress of Ceremonies. It's a journal for her to keep writing her poetry. And it's actually a really fancy clipboard. And on the clipboard it says, "Make the world a better place," which she does consistently. So that's for you. You're welcome. Okay, I think that's it for our gifts.
That's it for our gifts, but our special guest, Ralph Nazareth, is going to close the program. And after that, I'm going to tell you about the surprise. He has a very special message from one of his poetry workshops. Ralph?
I was afraid that I wouldn't have that musical support, but that was great, beautifully done. I don't know where to start. I'm choking, actually. with emotion. Parents, as a parent, I know what a gift it is to have children, to be the ones to bring them into the world and to have them as part of our lives, and teachers what treasures you have in your hands. And it's so moving to see you treating them with such care and building them up and making them shine. It just let's give them a hand, all of us. Now, the front row is not a bad place to sit sometimes when the stage is high and the podium is towering over you, because then you have to crane your neck up like this. And it made me think of how human it is to want to look up. It's a human instinct to want to look up at the trees, up at the sky, the birds flying up in the sky. You might call it heaven. That's a word, but I believe with Robert Frost, earth's the right place for love. I don't know where it's likely to go better. That's what I felt when I was looking at, listening to your words and coming up to the podium and giving the gift of your experience and telling us your little story. Hamlet wanted Horatio to do that for him. And your stories, in fact, are holding us all together. The word nothing seemed to come up a few times insistently. And that's what we push against all the time. I know it is beautiful outside and you want to go, so I won't keep you very long, but I do want to say a few things before we finish. So the unusual places that I've taught in, the first was teaching 10-year-olds, doing poetry with 10-year-olds. And one day I went in there, I had lost my voice. I had some cold and I completely lost my voice. So I went in there and mimed to the 10-year-olds. And so I wrote up on the board, pretend that you don't have a voice either, and write. And they did. And then I asked them what they had written. And one of them said, it felt like I was speechless, like a cow with no moo. Can we say that? A cow with no moo. To think that from those 10-year-olds at Katie Murphy and Hart School in Stanford to Sing Sing maximum security prison, to think that for the last 11 years I've worked with men who, for one reason or another, their own fault, and our complicity through our silence, it's never simple. They have lost their voice, their moo. So it's been my task, my challenge, and my privilege and good fortune to sort of enable them to speak in their own voice. It's difficult. The prison is a dark place, and I don't hesitate to talk about it, even though Solange and I didn't want to drag this down into a dark place, and I don't mean to do that. But it is in facing it that we realize how important it is to shore up the light, to underscore it, to preserve it in our own lives and in the lives of other people. In fact, one of the men wrote, I haunt myself daily, waiting to be revealed. Could I ask you to please say it with me? I haunt myself daily, waiting to be revealed. I mean, I would wager that line is as profound as Langston Hughes' line, "My soul has grown deep like the rivers." This has come from a man who was serving a 25 to life sentence. "I haunt myself daily, waiting to be revealed." And there are other things that I want to share, maybe just one, a short one. "I lost a lonely boy somewhere, and the colors faded from the photo. The levees have broken, they scream, but the damage was done years ago." There's much to share with you, but let me go to the surprise that Solange has sort of whetted your interest in. And the other day when I was at Sing Sing with my men, I told them that I was going to be here today, addressing you and being with you and listening to you and talking to you. And I asked them if they'd like to say something to you. And they wondered about it for a while. They were not sure. There's always this quandary about whether one wants to reveal one's innermost thoughts, especially places where one feels vulnerable. In hoping, many of you have left us with hope today. It's so difficult for those men to keep hoping because they are serving very, very long sentences. But they then took to the task and they wrote to you. These letters were addressed to you, and I excerpted from them. They were longish, so I'll just read you a few excerpts, okay? One of them says, "Today may very well be the first seed of your life to take root. Now is the time for your mind, body, and soul to commit to a greater appreciation of life and all the possibilities your journey has to offer." Another, "If I could do the age of 13 over, I would only worry about being a kid and radiate my youthful beauty, confidence, and pride, and enjoying my childhood and not other people's opinions. My journal and poetry would be my escape into the earthly and universal landscapes, so when no one notices or listens to me, my honest written expression would comfort me and give all others the opportunity to understand me." He's really talking about telling his story, as you and I have the freedom to tell our stories. Another one, "My struggle inside these walls is one of the most rough, fearful, and heartbreaking in my whole life. Before you do anything, please think about the consequences of your action." I want you to start thinking about making a difference in this world, positive, of course. There are children your age in other countries who are forced to make life-changing decisions. I am here to tell you that those are the people who are going to need your inspiration later. Make a difference, even if it makes you different. Poetry is a start. One of them says, "I have been incarcerated since the age of 19. I am forced to look into my own eyes and not be afraid. The moral of the story is, be yourself." "I took a life, so now I dedicate mine for the betterment of yours. You are the future, and because of that, the betterment of society depends on your decisions. Close your eyes and visualize the things that you want out of life. Now, go after it." And so it goes. Let me stop there. It's just very, very heartwarming to think that these men who are at the bottom of the well still have it in them, the life and the love and the desire to reach out, to be able to write these things out to you. Shall we give them a hand? And to end, let me say, borrowing a very famous word from Diane, I have a real crush on all of you. Thank you.
The real surprise is that there's a party. Please join us in the community room, right in the library. Ralph is going to be there with copies of Ferrying Secrets, and I want to let you know that all royalties from the sale of his book, as well as his honorarium for today, go to his charitable foundation, GraceWorks, which helps the poor and disenfranchised in India and other parts of the world. And a fun thing we have for you to do at the reception is to text a line of your poetry or the little poetry excerpt you got today, text it to a friend and share the reaction. Thank you very much for coming to Poetry Live.